the funk and the disco. A little more, little more.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to We Culture. Yes, indeed, it's a pleasure. Last week we were off, but we're back this week, and we won't be having too many interruptions again. We're going full speed ahead. It's a pleasure to be back, and of course, let me say welcome to our viewers on GBN Television, K105 FM, our Facebook page, and YouTube channel. Friends, we are very happy to have you back. All right, the team is here, and this evening we have a lot of wonderful things to talk about. In fact, we are in the track and field season. Yes, indeed. In fact, we had a number of, I know, for example, the St. David's Primary School, so they had their meet this afternoon. I saw some celebration from St. Andrews. I think MacDonald College probably just about wrapping up if they haven't yet. Yesterday, SAS and GBSS, so a lot is happening. And of course, we will be talking tonight a bit about the school system and some of the things that used to happen, that is happening, and possibly look at where we might be going. So before we get into that, let's welcome the team. And actually, we haven't seen Doc in a while. Doc was out the week before, then we were off last week. So Doc is back, and I think it's only fitting that we welcome Doc first. Doc, good evening and welcome, man. But Doc, you muted, like you don't want to talk to us?
Greetings to my colleagues.
Good to see you, man.
To all the listeners all day, as I said on the various medium, I was off for 1 week, and then they decide, well, they don't want to see me, they don't want to hear me, and they refused to have the following program when I was available. I heard that my name run like rapid, man. I went in Salaka to follow the tradition of my people, and those persons those people I expect to be my friend behind my back. They say I'm greedy, or this or that. But anyway, I'm well fed, and I'm I'm well fed spiritually and physically. So we're ready to go.
Well, Doc, I mean, I say what I tell you, because Reece and Scholar run them out on you last week. I mean, the week before. It's just I didn't get a chance to tell you yet, but you know, so don't think nothing. Finley.
Yeah, but I don't see what you're talking about, because even when Doc they here, we don't tell Doc he like you sweet a long bread. What do you call it, mother?
Cousin Gladys?
Because it's not a big long panel, so I mean, it's not anything strange.
Not secret.
But, I have to say tonight, and to say that for this segment, I'm here under duress, because the truth is that McDonald College Sports is happening even as we speak. And even as we speak, there are 2 events left in the day. And one house is leading one house by a pint.
It's still there?
But that Dimanche Grand?
Yeah.
That Dimanche Grand?
That is in the day, yeah.
But that is Dimanche Grand. That sounds like Dimanche Grand when you.
Only 2 schools I know. There may be more, but there was only 2 schools I know that have sports going all into these hours. One happened yesterday, and one happened today.
Well, Reece, that means that, these schools are moving against the call. We're souping up a bit. I mean, this nonsense about sports are going to finish 5 o'clock and this.
Under the light.
Yeah, I know. So we're utilizing it. And of course, we are ensuring that as much people as possible, when they come out from work, they could enjoy a nice little sports and see the children, give them pleasure and joy. I mean, SAS on, you could see, Livingston them on play the fool because you don't have no light up there. So they were running men shining with flashlight.
Hold on. Before Doc answer, let me tell you something, And that has worked for us, because even in Dakar, we used to run and win race in the night, Doc, tell him.
Yeah. Yes, I thought in Dakar that went up after 6.
By only done that.
No. Well, I know that, and I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that, and of course, SARS had some innovative races, not the lime and spoon thing, but they had a mixed relay, which is something I believe that they should bring it into Cal and look to bring, well, not in Anglican school and
Well, Joseph.
yeah, I don't leave out Anglican high school and them.
And not just Anglican High, St. John's Anglican, St. Patrick's Anglican, all the Anglican, all. That's
Yeah.
exactly where you have to go.
Those,
Hey, Sassy Anglican, careful, what are you saying?
Exactly. So I don't know why you're trying to segregate.
Yeah, but high school could have a mixed race where they could have teachers and children. And St. David's do a thing where them teachers dress with them children clothes and
yeah. Well, high school and them could have mixed relay, but children are good and children are no good is mixed. Good and no good is mixed and let them do the thing. But it's all good and we're back again after a week of break, and as usual we're going into our education series. So let's see what we should have some interesting talk to talk.
Oh, definitely. Well, Reece, we almost don't let you say good night,
Well, you know me, I fast. I from go off, so I just bought in, right? And then I will say good night. So good night, everyone. Welcome back to all our usual viewers and those of you who are new, fairly new. We're happy to have you. We've done a lot with We Culture already, and I'm sure you've missed a lot. So we're expecting the suggestions as usual of things to do that we have already done, but we have ways of going back and putting different spin on things like you would see happening just now. So stay tuned and just keep listening and be entertained.
Yes,
And the party.
indeed. You know, Reece.
Question before we kick off now.
Yeah, before you go, yesterday.
What is the color of that bridge you have in your head?
The color of the braids?
Reece, bend down, let me see. Bend down, let me see. The color of the braids.
There's white blonde.
Uh-huh.
There's what you call cognac.
What?
Cognac is like an orange red. And then there's golden blonde. So you're interested? Is that going to be your new hairstyle? Are we going to see? Are we going to see?
Hold on. I have to ask Doc a question. Doc, let me ask you a question now. Our ancestors had this kind of thing in the hair?
That take us back to Africa.
Yeah, I want to know if our ancestors, because Reece does play. Hold on. Reece does play best.
Doc better have very informed answers. I know a lot of you watch Wakanda.
No, but yeah, man, when you talk about hairstyle, you have to talk about Africa. For matter of fact,
I'm talking about this braids and thing that you in there. If our ancestors do with that.
For matter of fact, they used to have braids with animals, and what they did, they used to use mud sometimes to have extra braids. There is this people right now, I can't actually forget the name.
The one that used the red kind of mud.
Mud, like, yes, yeah.
They need to watch Wakanda so they can see all the different
they're using smoke as a way of helping to cleanse them.
Yes.
And actually, the people from what you call the Gambia, Senegal, the Wolof, they had special hairdo based on what they're doing. If you're married, you have a certain hairstyle. Before you marry, you have a certain hairstyle. When you go into war, they had something like braids.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So when it comes to those kinds of extension, I guess you can say the Asian people revolutionized the material, but when it comes to hairstyles, elaboration, substance, meaning, and all that, even head covering,
the Africans,
we had some of that. Yeah.
All right. So, guys, we have to take our break early. I mean, they're not ready yet, but while we wait, so Doc, you could make sense in the meantime.
Yeah. I have one that is probably going to be a little bit controversial. Well, people are men, women have children, and a lot of times, sometimes the fathers are not present. And because of that, sometimes the mother may decide to take that that father to court in order to extract child maintenance or support for the child, and rightfully so, the woman should seek redress for that. But then sometimes the outcome is that that child was not getting the financial support from the father, and from the court, the father end up in jail. Now, and the question is, the main victim here is the child. And then the child now, at the end, would end up saying that my father is now in jail. So the question is, how does that action, in terms of getting that father to jail, help in any way, healing or helping that child that the action was intended to help? So your father was not present at all in your life, but now you reach at a stage where you could tell the world that my father is now a jailbird. And to me, that does not make sense at all. So I want to know, how does that make sense? How does it benefit that in one way, that child has two strikes against him or her because of the system. When the father is in jail, I don't see how the father could be helping in terms of financially, and I don't see how the name as a jailbird could help heal anything or help anything as it relates to the child.
Doc, I am really going to be very civil and not try to argue and try to make sense of what you just said, but I am going to ask you to tell me, what is the alternative that would make sense to you? I
really cannot answer that, but I know that it's caused. Hold on, but the action of the father going in jail. But for a matter of fact, when you go to the court action, who is the main victim here? The main victim is the child. When the father goes to jail, who does that help? How does it help the child at all?
Doug, you know what's grossly lacking in everything that you say there? Background. Because for all you know, that father is happier and better off in jail. Yes. That's what I'm saying. You gave no background really to this. It's just that he's taken to court for child maintenance. So, and you talk about 2 strikes being on the child. That was a strike on him. He has a child. He bring a child into this world, and he's not maintaining the child. What's the background? Why is he not maintaining this child? That it has to reach so far that a mother has to subject herself to walking that mile to the court to go and get, what all did I say? $125 and $150, right? What was he not doing? He knew he has a child.
Yeah, but then how does the jail term help the child?
And then you speak of an action on him.
The child still not getting the 125 or the 150. The child now could say to the world that my father is a jailbird. And then when the father come up, the father still have to see if they get the support.
No, the child could not say anything about the father. She don't have to say her father is a jailbird. She could pretend she don't even have a father. So she don't have to say that.
See, let us flip the coin. You know how many fathers are actually taking care of children and it's not their own?
Listen, Doc, you went on another tangent there because both gender taking care of children that are not their own, right? Both gender. But what I'm saying is, the action that you keep speaking about, you're saying that the child is a victim, but the way you're sounding it as if the man is a victim, you know. The man don't mind the child and he end up in jail. And who is that benefiting? But who was it benefiting when he was out of jail? Who was that benefiting?
When the mother lodges a complaint or go to the court, is to ensure that child is being taken care of.
Do you know that before a mother reaches to court, which is usually like the last place, there's probably series of talking to the mother, talking to father, talking to brother, talking to sister, talking to how much people to try to get the man to mind his child. And I'm not saying that there aren't men who probably in situations where in the at the time they cannot afford, they cannot do it, whatever. But you know what? The luxury that a woman doesn't have is not being able to do it, whether she has a job or not. She still has to find it. She has to find the money where it do there. She has to use the money that she don't have. You understand? She doesn't have that luxury. So I don't understand what sense you're trying to make me make sense of. For all you know, he better off in jail.
All right. So, and while in jail, let's take the lotto break. Hopefully by then he should be out. We'll be back in a moment, folks. Stay with us.
Hello, Grenada. It's TGIF time again with the NLA. Thank goodness it's Friday. Every Friday in March, place 5 bets or more in a single ticket purchase on Cash 4, Pick 3 or Play Away. You automatically receive a quick pick inline ticket valued at $1. NLA is giving back more plays, more chances, more opportunities, and more prizes. Remember, when you play, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building. Promotion ends March 31st. You must be 18 years and over to participate.
Good evening, viewers and listeners. Welcome to the National Lotteries Authority's Daily Pick 3 Evening Draw for today, Friday, March 3rd, 2023. I am Anisha Charles. With me this evening is Ms. Jocelyn Clark from PKF Accountants and Business Advisors, whose purpose is to ensure that this show is conducted in a fair accountable manner, the game balls with industry standards and in no way tampered with. This time, your tickets at hand. It's Daily Pick 3. It pays to play. Good luck. First of this evening is check your tickets in the meantime. First number up is 9, second number. Second number is 7, third and final number. Final number is 5. Let's recap those numbers. Numbers on the screen. Check your tickets. First number up is 9, the second is 7, third and final is 5. So that's 9, 7, and 5. Congratulations, all our winners. For Daily Pick 3 tickets drawn midday, we had a total prize payout of $7,325. Congratulations to those of you who are part of this payout. Stay tuned, get a daily cash for draw. We'll see you really soon.
Do you know, when you play the games of the National Lotteries Authority, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique?
Hi, I am Junior Murray, cricket coach, sports enthusiast, and a former West Indies cricketer. I endorse the games of the NLA 100%. For the past 40 years, the NLA has been funding many sporting activities, including competition for schools and clubs, and for athletes to participate in overseas tournaments such as the Carifta Games and regional cricket tournaments. For those reasons, I play the game of the NLA. Even if I do not win, I know Grenada always wins.
Yes, when you play all the games, the NLA in turn supports sports, culture, and nation-building activities throughout the Tri-Island state.
Welcome back, everyone, to another Daily Cash for Evening Draw for today, Friday, March 3rd, 2023. I am Anisha Charles. With me again is Ms. Jocelyn Clark from PKF Accountants and Business Advisors, whose purpose is to ensure that this show is conducted in an accountable manner, and the game balls with industry standards and in no way tampered with. This time, your tickets at hand. It's Daily Cash for more plays, bigger prizes. Let's find out what this evening's winning numbers will be. Good luck to you. Check your tickets. First number this evening is first number up is 7, second number. Second number is also 7, third number up. Third number is 1, fourth final number. Final number is 8. Let's recap those numbers. Numbers on the screen. Check your tickets. First number up is 7, the second 7, third 1, fourth and final is 8. So that's 7, 7, 1, and 8. Congratulations, all winners. For Daily Cash for tickets drawn midday, we had a total prize payout of $20,700. And of course, congratulations to those of you who are part of this field. Tune in next to get to play with draw. We'll see you soon.
Hello, Grenada. It's TGIF time again with the NLA. Thank goodness it's Friday. Every Friday in March, place 5 bets or more in a single ticket purchase on Cash 4, Pick 3 or Play Away. You automatically receive a quick pick inline ticket valued at $1. NLA is giving back more plays, more chances, more opportunities, and more prizes. Remember, when you play, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building. Promotion ends March 31st. You must be 18 years and over to participate.
Welcome back everyone to another Playway Evening Draw for today Friday, March 3rd, 2023. I am Anisha Charles. With me again is Ms. Jolson Clark from PKF Accountants and Business Advisors, whose purpose is to ensure that the show is conducted in an accountable manner, and the game balls with industry standards and in no way tampered with. Let's play Playway, value your dreams on your way. Good luck.
This evening's winning Playway number is Shock It to the time.
This evening's winning Playway number is 27. Let's recap the number 2727. 27 represents dream symbol spirit. Congratulations, all winners. The pool tickets drawn midday, we had a total prize payout of $42,432. And of course, congratulations to those of you who are part of this payout. Tune in later on for the lotto draw. This evening playing for a jackpot of $344,000. We'll see you then.
Do you know, when you play the games of the National Lotteries Authority, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimaknik?
Hi, I am Junior Murray, cricket coach, sports enthusiast, and a former West Indies cricketer. I endorse the games of the NLA 100%. For the past 40 years, the NLA has been funding many sporting activities, including competition for schools and clubs, and for athletes to participate in overseas tournaments such as the Carifta Games and the regional cricket tournaments. Additionally, they made it possible for you, the public, to view local, regional, and international tournaments from the comfort of your homes. For those reasons, I play the game of the NLA. Even if I do not win, I know Grenada always wins.
Yes, when you play all the games, the NLA in turn supports sports, culture, and nation-building activities throughout the Tri-Island state.
A pleasant evening to everyone. Welcome to the National Lotteries Authority's Lotto Draw number 3479 for today, Friday, March 3rd, 2023. I am Anisha Charles. With me this evening is Ms. Jolson Clark from PKF Accountants and Business Advisors, whose purpose is to ensure that the show is conducted in an accountable manner, with the game balls with industry standards and in no way tampered with. This time, your tickets at hand because you're about to play for a whopping jackpot of $344,000. But first, your free ticket letter. Good luck. Your free ticket letter for this evening is J as in jackpot. Let's proceed for 5 winning numbers. Good luck to you.
First number this evening is Shock It to the time. First number up is 13. Second number. Second number is 3. Third number up. Third number is 22, followed by 8. Fifth and final number. Final number is 17.
Let's recap those numbers. Numbers on the screen. Check your tickets. First number up is 13. The second, 3. Third, 22. Followed by 8. Fifth and final is 17. So that's 1, 3, 13, 0, 3, 3, 2, 2, 22, 0, 8, 8, and 1, 7, 17. Your free ticket for this evening is J as in jackpot. Congratulations to all the winners. Reminding you, this has been Lotto. Play and win a lot. When you play all the games of the National Lotteries Authority, support sports, culture, and nation building. Thanks for joining us. Have a fantastic weekend.
Hello, Grenada. It's TGIF time again with the NLA. Thank goodness it's Friday. Every Friday in March, place 5 bets or more in a single ticket purchase on Cash 4, Pick 3 or Play Away. You automatically receive a quick pick inline ticket valued at $1. NLA is giving back more plays, more chances, more opportunities, and more prizes. Remember, when you play, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building. Promotion ends March 31st. You must be 18 years and over to participate.
Whether you're shopping for hardware, building materials, and appliances, Hubbard's Building Supplies at Grandans is the place to shop. With improved facilities, increased parking, wider variety of products, and a trendy and spacious layout, catering for all your shopping needs. Why wait? Visit Hubbard's Building Supplies today. Now open Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Hubbard's. Quality service, affordable prices.
Get ready to witness the ultimate sporting spectacle at the Ariza National Athletics Championship 2023. This two-day event is taking place on March 11th and 12th at the Karani James Athletic Stadium with a jam-packed schedule of middle and long-distance races, sprint races, field and jump events. This is an event not to be missed. Come see Track Blazers, Ace, 473 MVP, Fusion, Rising Stars, Velocity, New Track Club, and schools will be competing to showcase their talent and vie for national supremacy. This is the final opportunity for athletes to qualify for the Carifta Games. Admission $20. Children under 12 can enjoy the excitement for just $10. Also, don't miss out on the big showdown in the senior men's 400 meters between Commonwealth semi-finalists Michael Francois, Adian Peters, Troy Mason, and Simile Felix. It's the Ariza National Athletics Championship, March 11th and 12th at the Karani James Athletic Stadium. Get your tickets now.
Sisson's WeatherGuard Pro. For every project, there's only one Pro.
Raise it high up the ladder. Let we set it on fire. A little more calypso. Forget the funk and the disco.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. It's We Culture, and you know, guys. Doc and Reece start up the little table, Finley, and people start to text me and tell me we have a hot program for tonight, you know.
Boy.
So make it make sense.
Well, make it make sense. Alice in there. I mean,
well, me too.
I have to say that I agree with Reece. I mean, I would like to agree with Reece because what that saying in other words, basically nobody mustn't go in jail.
You understand that?
Well, let me tell you,
nobody mustn't go in jail because if you kill a man already, they put you in jail. No, the man don't coming back.
Yes.
They put you in jail.
And then the man that killed could be serving purpose outside. He could be cutting, he could mean all kind of things. So it's a waste of time.
Yeah, it could be mine.
What's the point? Already?
Let me tell you, I understand what Doc is saying, and maybe Doc needed to, as Reece said, maybe provide a little background. But the truth and in fact is, Doc has a point, and if you really look at some of the circumstances under which it happens, there are cases where men are in fact truly victims of that, you know, and not necessarily a case where they don't want to mind the child. But sometimes some of these mothers, they just form the fool. So I guess, and I agree with Reece, maybe we have to probably look at it, holistically and understand the circumstances behind it. Because sometimes
but Godfrey, hold on with that. Hold on, tap. Kill yourself.
So are we going to stick on this program tonight, or?
Well, Doc, Doc, you say make it make sense, so how are you trying to do now?
Yeah, break, Doc. Yeah, break.
Lead the program now, man. When we're ready, we go move. When we exhaust that, you would bring this thing, Next time we only you make nothing make sense.
Doc, go ahead, are we do?
No, but
hold on that. Hold on. But here's what. When would a man that they mining children go in jail? Wouldn't they give the man opportunity to mine the child?
Exactly.
That's right.
And you give opportunity. They just want you one quiet street and put on child support, whatever thing. And if you real decide, well, you play the fool and you don't mind it, and you're making a little change, they have proved that you think. To me, the jail thing does be a last resort.
Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah.
Totally
repeated behavior.
Repeated behavior. So if they tell you, boy, mind the child. If you don't show
trying. You can't make all, but you're trying.
The only way, the only understand I could work with them, Doc and Godfrey, that is that children doesn't belong to man. So in that case, if you ain't certain, then you do whatever you want to do to make sure. Oh, I don't know if the court could help in that vein, or you do a Grenadian paternity test. Let somebody watch.
Some grandmother and thing.
Yeah, let it watch it and see. And if they say, well, yes, it is, and you're playing the fool, then we'll jail you.
One other thing I would like to add, though, maybe in instances where, or if it is that maybe the man have difficulty in finding a work, maybe, I don't know if the court could find a way or find an organization to probably assist in finding some kind of employment. And if after that he ain't ready yet, well, I mean, according to Afla, you have to put the jail on top him.
I think everything has to do with context, eh?
Yes.
So I am not here stating that the man is not responsible or the father should not play the role. So I want it to be stated quite clearly that that is not my position at all, that the man should be held responsible. I look at that at the point of view that when that person, that man go in jail, that father, how does it affect the child that you intend to help? That is the first key. So the person, that child might be 5, 6, 10 years. Now, how does the jail term? I could understand the mother should not be tending or having to take care of that child alone. We're clear on that, up to that point. But how does the jail term then help remedy the situation? That is the first thing. The second thing I look at, family and family life has a lot to do with dynamics. And I know, and I guess every one of us know, that sometimes fathers are absent 10, 15 years in the life of their children. And way down 20 and 25, children get a chance, or the family get a chance to make it up. And the relationship has a sense to gel because they kind of make it up because the father was absent, although the father was absent. Now I'm saying, I believe that what jail does is that you almost put a barrier to make it almost impossible, because that record of a jail time always something that would hinge on the father and always something in the back of the mind of the child or the children.
But Doc, you also hold on, Reece. Hold on.
I believe that something has to be done. I believe that something should be done. But as it relates to jail, I'm not so sure. I don't believe that is the most appropriate.
So, Doc,
way.
I have one question to ask you. So, the man have behind his head that he had a jail term after all these years. What the child have behind his head? Whether he went to jail or not.
But
whether he went to jail or not. What the child have behind his head for his whole life, he never mind.
Yeah, what the child would have in his or her head is that one, my father was not in my life. That is one. The second thing, when the father go to jail, no, the father went to jail, and that father would not, he went in jail rather than even make an effort. I am saying what you did was to put up a greater barrier to prevent any chance for reconciliation.
You know what? Maybe what going to jail allows for is for a real father to come in your life and play the role. And maybe his presence was actually causing that to not happen. Father is not always biological. And the reason why he go to jail is not because of what he was doing, what he was trying to do, what he was repeatedly making so much efforts towards doing, is all that he was not doing repeatedly. I don't know. Listen,
but Finley,
there are other things that happens in children's life other than the father going to jail that is even more detrimental where they're concerned, you know. But Godfrey, what you laughing at? What you laughing at?
Finley, well, let me tell you, I don't talking to you, eh? You like to watch your bacchanal for me. Let me talk to my partner, Finley. So, Finley, what if the reason the man wasn't mine is because a real father was in each child's life? And she said...
But a lot of the times that's the case.
Yes. But you know there is a famous saying as it relates to that.
A lot of times that's the case, but whether a real father there, a real father do it. Once the child is yours, mind the child. Mind the child.
Tala, and I think we crossed that road. We accept that. No,
Doc, let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. I hope we could get through that and move. But let me say this to you, and let me say this to you emphatically. And it was a big word. Let me say this to you emphatically. You have made a proposition, and I'm listening to Reece go back and forth with you and whatnot. Now, your proposition would have been a better proposition had you been able to suggest an alternative, but you can't. And therefore, your proposition makes absolutely, it can't hold water. Because all you're saying, don't put the man in jail. All right, fine. So, don't put the man in jail. Well, what to do then? Because we have a situation where a child is affected, right? And what do we do to help so that we could turn a curve in a positive direction as it relates to the father and minding the child? And you do not have, for heaven's sake, an alternative. And you just flash that out, that, what is the alternative?
Hold on, Doc. Doc, before you come in, let me just add...
That was not a topic we came here to seriously discuss. So the truth that I did not delve in.
But hold on, let me just say this, and maybe that's the final thing, unless all you want to do something else. Now, as it relates to how it affects the child, I think the jail in this case, is secondary, because the effect of not supporting the child prior to jail term could be more devastating for the child than the man going in jail. Because you see, let me tell you, one, the child not getting the support could seriously affect the child's upbringing in many ways. The child's education, the child's behavior. I mean, there's a series of things that you can look at. So to me, the effect the jail have on the child is secondary.
Godfrey, I know of one situation here where the father was involved. The father would bring vegetables and little things and fruits, etc., and take the children out and do those things. But financially, in terms of handing over, the father never had that.
Right.
And it was deemed in jail that this person was not supporting the child.
So the person went to jail in...
No, that person, I mean, quote, it went to court, but the person did not go to jail. I think the process is probably still on.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, sometimes, you know, Scholar, I didn't thought of an alternative because I just threw it out, hoping that one day it would lead into a discussion where we could exhaust it. But the idea was that we were going to prolong it. And I know the Queen was going to come at me.
Anyway, Reece, let's take some Facebook comments.
Okay. So we have people are very happy that we are back. Jose is saying, good night, guys. McDonald College Sports is live and is the 4x4 men's and women's relay right now. Next, my host is leading. Second is Alexander. You know, Jose, when you're telling us about NAC and Alexander and thing, put like a bracket, what color? We need to know that. Cynthia is saying, be careful with the long hair. I see the school children in a certain country using it as a weapon. I see them pulling and tugging at the hair during their fights. I find it so painful. Yeah, that happening with weave, that happening with anything. That happening with real hair as well. Sonia Martin is saying, I understand that some parents have told their children that their father is in the army. So Doc, maybe we can send them to the army, you know? That you know, even though they're far, far away in Afghanistan or whatever, Jakarta, whatever they're fighting, you know, I think you might be more comfortable knowing that they are in the army, out of the child life, but just not in jail. So they don't have jail at the end of the name, jail board. Carl is saying too much breadfruit and hog features being eaten on the island after such a meal. Only one thing on these people's mind. I don't know what exactly he's talking about. But Jose is saying, Scholar, how come you're not at full pasture? McDonald College Sports, the best sports. He didn't say in Grenada. He said Sotes. Yeah.
No.
He said the best sports in Sotes. What?
No. The best sports. No. You're misreading. So the best sports, they're in Sotes. Not the best sports in Sotes. The best sports in the world, they're in Sotes.
Okay. All right. Because I don't know why you talk about best sports in Grenada. I mean, when you still calling your sports, I mean, we have Olympics and thing. Olympics, you know, Olympics. Isaiah is saying, Nelson made a very salient and genuine point, but it appears to have mashed Miss Sam's corn. Isaiah, I have no corn. I have no corn. What I have is big toes, and he mashed me toe. And he mashed my toe on behalf of a lot of women's toes. So I'm saying on behalf of a lot of women. He's also saying, are you all aware that men maintain false children? Why the court doesn't demand DNA tests? Some women take advantage in the absence of proof. But the man has a right to request.
Yeah, but DNA test is a money thing, isn't it?
Yes, and it's expensive.
If the man can mind the child, where you go be able to. So my thing, and as I said it before, we don't have, in Grenada, we don't have need for this DNA test to go and spend money and things. That is American white people thing. Our DNA test is with here. God make us with it. You see that two thing here? That is DNA test.
And you have to be of a certain age.
And it works, huh?
DNA test.
It works.
Grandparents.
Yeah?
Grandparents.
Yeah. But watch.
That is its most.
Since children ban grandparents.
Isaiah is saying jail should be a no, period. Monet is saying good evening to everyone and the rest of We Culture. Well, Livingston, she wants you to know that it's a while she has not seen you. Her work shift is wherever it is. Anyways, enough love from New York. She likes the hairdo as well, the colors. Christopher St. Paul is saying fathers must make sure that they care for their children and grandchildren. It's a blessing. Right. And if you don't accept the blessing, you go to jail. Isaiah is saying Why is Miss Sam so passionate and emotional about Nelson's contribution? None of you is offering an alternative to jail. So don't pong Nelson for not offering one. But you see, Isaiah, from where we sit, he is saying that these things are all wrong. So we're asking him then what it should be.
But
so he's the one that's supposed to put the alternative.
But I did offer an alternative. I said maybe the court could assist in helping the man find employment if he ain't working.
Yes, yes. He could get up his royals too. And Sonia is saying the man goes to jail, and when he comes out from jail, he still have to continue the child maintenance. And that is only fair, because when he was in jail, before he go in jail, he didn't do it. While he in jail, he don't do it, but he getting 3 square meals. 3 square meals.
Yeah, but
and when he come out, he's supposed to just come out and don't do nothing again.
But what I said, Reece, but what about, yeah, but that would be, the child might be getting double support then, that time?
That, watch me, that time the child.
No, but you say that time you have a real father in the child life.
Yes.
So if you, hold on. So if you have a real father mind in the child while the man in jail, when the man come out and you have to steal mind, that double mind, that's called.
Right. Well, yeah. What Morris Bishop say? When you are no longer able to solve, move out and let somebody else who is capable move in. So that's it. Move out.
Anyway.
Yeah, but the truth is, Reece, you done?
I find Doc look real disappointed in me.
No. I ask if you finish reading, Reece?
Yes, I finished reading. That's it.
The honest truth is that Doc has 10 data. This makes sense. I never believed that this is a problem in Grenada. That does happen so much, maybe once or twice in a blue moon. As far as I know, man not minding children is a customary thing in Grenada. I mean,
it's part of the culture. It's part of the culture.
It's part of the culture.
In fact, what is most common is that the court they are going to pay money in the courthouse for the child in the station.
And what they supposed to pay. Sometimes women don't even bother because it's next to nothing. So I've always heard that women say that don't bother with them children.
Yeah, not much women go down that road. Not much.
No. And that's why we have so many single parents fighting up with children. And so I never knew that this was a big thing. First of all, I mean, it's nice hypothetically to discuss this and to seriously cause that. I mean, I have you that, but honestly, I never knew. I didn't get that sense that this is a big issue in Grenada.
But hold on, let me posit something else here on that while we do. Do you know that there are some women, and as it relates to the same mining and thing, if the woman and the child father go in, right? So they had a relationship going still, and the man don't mind in the child, the woman don't have an issue, you know. Let them leave and you go see. She bringing him up. let she leave. Soon as they leave, she bringing up the man. They have to stop that.
Yeah. They have to stop that.
They have to stop that.
Exactly what you say there. Exactly what you say is generally what leads to that. It's usually a woman's wrath that decide they're going out on a limb. Yeah.
Especially the man pick up our next thing.
Listen,
jail take you.
Everything that y'all saying there, those things happen. But to say that this is what is usually the case, no.
Most times.
From the time a child is conceived, money is involved. Doctor fees, clinic.
No, of course.
You have to prepare for child. When child born, is diapers and milk and all kind of things, right? And men, and not, I'm not doing like y'all, you know, and saying that most men does just opt out. No, we're saying that they are the men who just choose to or just can't, for whatever reason, they are not present. But the mother never has that luxury. Even up to the child turn 18, sometimes 25, the mother does not have that luxury. It is incomparable. Like, you know, and stop saying is usually because some woman is some wrath or whatever. At the end of the day,
that true?
you still have to take care of that child.
I never say a woman is a rat. I say woman's rat.
No, I never said some rat. I just said a woman is a rat. Listen, Doc, what's going on? I said some rat. What is a rat?
Doc, if that's what you hear, that's what you hear. And it's that.
And just like you have men that are negligent, we see there are some women from the time that child come into the world and past 6 months and breastfeeding done or stop, is the grandmother or somebody else that is taking care. So we have delinquent behavior
on both sides.
On both sides of the coin. Yeah. So
I could agree with that, but that was not your testimony. Your testimony was about a man that is a victim because he went to jail for not minding his child.
The intention was not to explore the whole complex
no,
nature.
But if when you say what you say, I had said, oh yes, you'd have been okay.
I would have been so surprised.
You'd have been surprised?
Yes. That's like a
Reece,
like Grenada getting snow.
Reece, Doc catch you. Doc set you up. Reece, Doc set you up. Doc set you up.
Okay, guys.
Anyway,
I will be on the lookout for him, you know.
Anyway, fellas, that was 6 minutes to 9, and we're supposed to be starting a discussion on the.
What is the topic?
Yeah, but Reece, read that last comment on Facebook, but I can think on a man and you read that.
Yeah.
Read the thing, man.
Okay, so let me read what I see here. Sonia is saying the man goes to jail, and when he comes out from jail, he still have to. Okay, I read that before. Isaiah is saying, Godfrey, you made a hell of a point when you mentioned how some women eventually take the man to court. You know, Isaiah, I'm kind of figuring out Isaiah. Isaiah agrees with everything that Doc says, and he describes Doc's points like they are such strong and predominant points, and he's telling me about who mashing my con. I feel Isaiah must have maybe nearly go in jail.
Go in jail.
Don't feel happened to Isaiah. So Angie said, I believe sending a man to jail has the potential to do more harm than good. The child could grow up feeling like it's his or her fault that dad went to jail. Can also sever any chance of fostering, let me get a good relationship between father and child in the future. If he starts seeing the child as a burden and the reason for him getting a criminal record, whereas men should take care of their responsibilities, this is certainly not the best solution to the problem. Let me just go back, Ope. Angie says, the child could grow up feeling like it's his or her fault that dad went to jail. So that child living in a bubble? That child just hear one statement. My father is in jail. So she don't hear nothing about why he is in jail. 1. 2, can also sever any chance of fostering a good relationship between father and child in the future. He wasn't trying to foster no good relationship before. And he's a big man. If he starts seeing the child as a burden, what? If he starts seeing the child as a burden, you know what? I'm not even going to respond to that one. Jose is saying, well, I vexed Alexander House 1, Nax green 2nd, 3rd Taylor's blue, and Friday's red. Okay, so we got it. So yellow 1. Anyways, what's the topic tonight? Suppose finished. So that's a comment. I don't understand why is it that we keep. I mean, I have a son too. I have a son, but I just tell him since you're a child, if he don't do right by the people, me and the people are going to be joining together to deal with him. You have to take responsibility. You have to try. What? Why are we making men seem so fragile? I thought we were fragile.
You see?
Yes.
from this day on, we will stop you from reading comments if that is what you're doing. Every sentence you read, you have to report with about a whole book, then you read that sentence again. You have to stop that.
Which one of all in order to take up the job?
You have to stop that.
I'm angry.
Stop that.
You realize for me to stop. My hand of course.
Well, but she had to explain it. She had to explain what the people want to say. She's an explainer. Anyway, I realized Blue House winning real sports, and it's that they winning GBSs, they winning SAS. Well, they teeth in college for Yellow.
Yellow?
Yeah.
But what? Which house you believe in? House in college?
Blue.
Red.
Red come last.
Yeah, I think red coming last in SAS too.
The red coming last, right, you?
Red has to stop that.
If we go into the topic chosen, let me get it because a few people are on the edge wondering what is up. If that is what we're doing tonight.
Anyway, so we had we decided to speak on the whole school system, starting on street, and that is very lengthy. So definitely we have to continue, and that should probably take us well into call. So I think we should start with the teacher. Finley, our present school system, as is, and as compared to what it was. Give us a let me see. Give us a little a mini feature address on it.
That is what we're talking about. Well, I didn't know that.
But what do you mean?
I thought we were speaking about the whole Mr. Man, Reece up, you know.
Well, you have to be.
The truth is that we spoke somewhat. With all the rambling that taking place with man going in jail and all kind of thing, we touched on some salient things that probably we'll be speaking about tonight. You know, because I started by addressing Reece's long braids and hair and so on, because I was sort of setting the scene.
But
right?
yeah, but then that's where I am.
For what's to come. Now, when you think about the school system, yeah, and you look at the rules and laws and so on that govern the school system, much of it, I believe, we would have taken from our old colonial past. And so you have stuff inside there that has not moved really with the times. And we are still stuck, if you think about it, doing certain things. And in this day and age, they are very difficult to sometimes to justify. Although, because they are cultural, people would justify them by saying that is how it's supposed to be. Now, let me give you an example. Now, in the whole Education Act and the school system, right? The Education Act gives schools the leeway and the authority to set rules concerning deportment and discipline and so on. So the Education Act will lay it out as to how you should do, but it gives schools the leeway. And you'll find that in most schools, well, if not all, I think all schools in Grenada, since we were a little boy and still donkey or saga boy, they have rules relating to hairstyle and how hair is worn, right? So children are usually punished if the school deems that, especially boys, the length of the hair is such that it defies the school rule, because the school rule have a kind of length. You have to be well trimmed and what have you. And once your hair start to get big, then they'll send you home and tell you, go and cut your hair or something like that. They used to say you have some schools where, I guess in Rabo and them time, maybe if children are thinking they take scissors.
They cut it here for you?
They take scissors and trim them for themselves, and so on. And the thing is that in recent times, this has been coming under scrutiny, not in Grenada as such, but recently in Guyana, for example, Guyana passed laws that said that you cannot punish a child because of how they keep the hair, all right? And so when you think about it, your questions may arise as in this day and age when we see them like to talk about personal rights and freedoms and infringement. Is it an infringement on a child's personal right to you wear your hair how you like, right? And then you have the other thing, which is a cultural norm that is difficult to understand, but that's how we know it. It is okay for a young lady to have long hair and plait it and so on, but not for a boy. Not for a young man, not for a boy, right? And we also will look upon a girl that trims hair and shave it as something is wrong. This is a norm that we are accustomed to. And you ask yourself, but why? What is the big thing about a boy having long hair with long plait and things? What makes a boy different from a girl in terms of that? And the truth is that that's just how we know it. And there's no big justification as such for this thing. More than girls are supposed, just as how you think about it, girls have to wear skirt and dress and that kind of thing. That's just how we make things. And that's how we know it. And so if a boy wear a dress or a boy wear a skirt, then I mean, that's antisocial and that's outside of the norm. And those are things that are very, very difficult to justify, really, and to rationalize, other than that is just how it is, you see? And so,
okay.
Well, that's the address. That's the feature address. So
very good, very good feature address. You can take a bow.
Yeah.
So yeah, Reece, go ahead. Go ahead, Reece.
But you know, I was just going to add, right? It's a lot about how things, how as you say, how it's supposed to be. It's like we were taught that, and a lot of it come from colonial times, right? But look at it today. So Anglican high schools uniform in the past used to be a mini skirt, a pleated mini skirt. So the same school skirt, just short, like mid-thigh thereabouts, right? It's cute. So I remember there was one time it had to be 4 inches below the knee. Now you know how super long that was. So it's now a more, you know, reasonable 2 inches below the knee. Yeah? But look today. So we had a lot of inches in length for the girls. The skirts have to be pleated, so you know your curves and all that doesn't show out. It's not too tight, you know, that kind of thing. But which gender they having more problems with now in school concerning tightness?
Boys.
It's the boys.
Yeah,
their pants gone. I don't even know how their feet go through the pants based on how gone it is. It's more than 7. It's less than 7 inches down in the ankle there, and it's narrow. They can't even run in it, right? And so them still breaking it on top of that. They're breaking it over their shoes, so you're seeing their hem. To me, I travel every day in that school zone in the Tantin area there, and the girls, I mean, what I don't see is like the socks maybe not the length it's supposed to be. It's 3/4 and not up to the knee. But what I don't see the most problems with is the boys' pants. They short tight, the pants tight.
Yeah, but that is how style. You know, style does move. There was one time I had bell bottom, and that is a topic that we have very because you had all kind of different clothes.
Yeah.
But the question, in summing up my speech, the question that I want us to really delve and delineate tonight is: should children, school children, be punished? Maybe you send them home, you give them some suspension or whatever for how they wear their hair. And that is both boys and girls. In other words, should girls have this kind of thing as what we see and have? They shouldn't be distracting, or should we have a standard that says this is distracting, this is not, how do we deal with this thing? Should, in this day and age?
Doc,
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
let me hear Doc. Let's hear your okay, Reece, when you finish here.
Doc. Mm-hmm.
Let me hear Doc.
Yeah, Doc, let's hear your thoughts on that.
Doc, you mute.
Doc look like he frozen, man.
Doc stick by.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you say Bobo.
You look as Doc. Doc.
So when you say Bobo?
Yeah. Let me just throw in a couple things here. I think there are a couple things we need to look at. One, whether or not, well, Doc, you back with us?
Yeah, I think I'm getting some issues at the second time. I'm getting some issues with the internet. I don't know what is happening.
Right. So yeah, we want to hear your views on what Scholar's feature address.
Well, let me see. I will use myself as an example. Going to school, and I was sent outside the first time to comb my hair. The teacher took a pencil and shoved it through my hair. And then the second time again I was sent, I comb my skull, and then the teacher came back outside and helped me to comb my hair. I'm saying that to say that in school there was always what they consider to be a standard, but the standard did not take my hairstyle or my negridness into consideration. What the standard took is that my hair is supposed to kind of lie down silky and etc. So you find as a little boy, particularly in school, my Afrocentricity was never something in consideration. Or I believe that school should allow boys and girls to wear their hair naturally. I don't believe that the way Reece has a hair, that children should go in school like that. I believe as simple as possible. You want the least distraction, but anything that is of you should be accepted. For a matter of fact, you're here, and we come back to something that we were talking about, and Scholar, Godfrey, if you don't hear me at some time, let me know.
Yeah, I'm here. We're hearing you. Mm-hmm.
You're good.
Right. Now, I am saying that if hair depicts our identity. When a child is born, we say child, eh?
Not a pregnant child.
when a child is born, what you find happening is that the parents would look, and if I am together with someone that look like me and we have a child and the hair look a little silky, then Scholar and Godfrey gonna look and wondering, where with now? Livingston get a 619.
Something wrong.
Yeah, that happens often.
Right, something wrong, right. So your hair is one of the first signs of the child's identity. So the school is the place where that should be recognized, appreciated. So your natural hair, if your hair is kinky, it's kinky. If it is Indianish, it's Indianish. Irrespective of your hair should be. So any way a child could use the hair to go to school, once it is natural and nothing was added, that should be accepted in school. The other part about school and hairstyle, I also believe that as children, we cannot be monotonous, we have to be creative. So the different hair plait, once it is natural, it should be accepted, particularly by the young girls, young ladies. It should be accepted. So if a boy decide to plait his hair, what is the big deal? Or if a girl decide to go Kenro or whatsoever style, I don't know the various style. Once it is natural and there is no addition to extra hair or extra chemicals, etc., that should be accepted. Because you want that child growing up appreciating and accepting their own identity. And the identity starts with your hair, mainly. Your hair is what depicts you. When I look at a Scholar and I see hair falling on his shoulder, I say, well, it's Scholar mix. And that gives me a bearing of Scholar's background, where he come from. His parents were probably mixed. So that the hair has to be something that we take and hold solely. And for years, reflected mainly by our women in our women. For years, all kind of devices were developed in order to try to make our hair look different from what the creator gave to us. So in a sense, our whole identity became questioned. Who am I? You are less than. So when I was sent out in class, in order to get my hair combed and should look in a particular way, and then as the wind blew, my hair started falling up again. What I am hearing from the education system, from the teachers, is that my hair is not standard. It's not standard, that doesn't reach the standard. And if we believe in the Creator, and if we believe in God, who are you to tell me that my hair is not standard? So there's a lot I could say on that, but I would give up again because, we start late. So that is the trend I thought that, the hair challenging the norms of society that we grew up in, that put you in a kind of straight jacket. And surprising scholar, you look at the Education Act, and the Education Act basically said there should be no discrimination against, religion, moral, whatsoever. There should be no discrimination. Recently, in sometime a couple of years ago, a child was sent out from a school because the child had natural hair, and some teachers thought that the child hair was not appropriate. In Jamaica, a Rasta child with a Rasta hair, and that was so, disappointing. In Jamaica, that child was sent home.
Of all places.
Of all places in states, children were prevented from graduating because they had a long dreadlocks, so the hair did not meet the so-called style. It was too natural. So if we just forget about the laws and the constitution of your country or the Education Act, what's about the fact that you are made in the image of God, and that is who you are?
Who next?
Finley?
Godfrey, don't talk yet.
I just hosting. I moderating.
Man, explain.
Well, I don't talk about here yet.
Let me tell you, my view on this is a little different in part. I'll tell you why. Two things. First, we started by speaking about the child and how if the child should be allowed to do this and the child should be allowed to do that. But we need to put into context and say exactly what we mean. Because if a child should be allowed to wear their hair anyhow to go to school, then I don't understand why the child's behavior, which is the child, should be in question. So you see, always say, let me talk. Let me expatiate. Let me expatiate. Right. Now, in my opinion, a child is under the care of an adult, because, and I'm going here with child because, how child decides. And the other thing is, I don't think it is a child that decides to wear their hair in any particular way to go to school. The parents prepares the child for school. There's one. Secondly, like in any other organization, there are policies and guidelines that, govern the operation. And if there is a policy, or if the school has a policy about how children should be attired to go to school, I don't see a problem there. I don't see a problem with that. So I am somewhere in between as to whether or not a child should be allowed to be attired in a particular way, or to have the hair in a particular way, as compared to other actions of the child, which is the child. Because Doc was making the point about, how your hair is you and who you are and all of that. A child behaving in a particular way because of probably whatever reason is the child. Now, when these things happen, we try to change the children. We bring them to counselors, we bring them to work, and I think we do all kind of psychological evaluation to determine where this behavior come from, if the child grew up in some kind of family that was dysfunctional, all of that. So I'm trying to figure out where we are as it relates to that.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
No,
Mhm.
no, I want. All right, go ahead. But I wanted to rebut that because that one is to rebut. But like,
one is to rebut.
Yeah, man.
Godfrey, I think what you are saying and what I said, or probably what we all saying, could always be combined to have that general statement. So even if that child has a particular hairstyle, it doesn't mean that one day you decide you comb and your hair dirty. I mean, I think the same rules and regulations about neatness and cleanliness must be applied irrespective of your hairstyle. So I am not saying that, okay, the child is on the own, he's on their own. It comes from the parents. It has to be something that is acceptable, of course, by the parent because it's a child. But you must ensure about cleanliness and neatness, etc. That is the standard of the school. But if I am to grow an Afro, Godfrey, that doesn't mean that I cannot be neat. If my hair, if I plait my hair, that doesn't mean I cannot be neat. If I have locks or dreadlocks, that doesn't mean that I cannot be neat. So I'm just saying that natural expression doesn't prevent you from being clean and neat and following the regulations of the school. And if you have to wear tie or your pants and your shirt, you do the same thing. So behavior is out of, that is not what we're looking at, but I'm just saying that there are rules, there are guidelines, we follow the rules and the guidelines.
You see, one of the things that we have to take into consideration is that when children go to school, you're going to school with other children. And so it will be unfair to do anything that will either distract or interfere with another child's well-being, interfere with the way they access education and learning and so on. And so definitely children behaving bad and this kind of thing. This is not just a child behaving bad to leave that because that is within the child. The child behaving bad more than likely will be affecting others. I mean, there's no two ways about it, right? A child who, and that's why Doc said, you don't agree with children going like, oh, Reece, as she here. Because that's distracting. That's distracting, and other children will, if a child goes untidy, no, a school could be a ground for disease spreading and so on. So you can't just go untidy because it could affect children and you could spread disease and whatnot. But if you hear big, you hear things, I mean, really and truly, what are affecting? Honestly, you have a big afro, or you have a plait here, or who are interfering with? This doesn't
Can I say something?
The only way it may be distracting is because culturally, we know that, oh, boys shouldn't plait their hair and whatnot. So it may distract. But really and truly, the true sense of the word, it shouldn't.
But what about guidelines, policies that govern the organization?
And that's what we're saying. So the guidelines that are governing the organization. And here is what. While Doc speaks about discrimination and so on, but the Education Act gives the school the right to pass guidelines for that cleanliness, tidiness, general deportment, attire, all these things. It gives the school the right. So really and truly, under those guidelines, the school is correct. But there is nothing that says that laws and so on. I mean, come on, apartheid was a law. Where is it now? Right? So there's nothing that says that those things cannot be reversed with civil disobedience and people, with awakening and so on, and say, well, what's wrong with this thing? And then look what has happened in Ghana. I mean, it was so for years until people started agitating and they had to change it up.
So then, this is what needs to be done. If there are things, for example, because you see, I don't understand why are we going to, if yes, we can argue about it, but then I think the argument has to be with changing the guidelines.
Yeah, but before you
and until such time,
before you change it, you have to have a awakening of awareness.
No, of course, and this is what I'm saying. If we are going to argue, then we should argue about changing it. You understand?
We should argue about We should argue about whether that is relevant in this day and age, and this is what would spur change. This is what caused the change in Ghana. It was a whole social media upheaval because of some little circumstance, and it just broke out until it put pressure on the powers that be, that they changed it.
Right.
That's how change takes place.
I think Reece wanted to say something.
Yeah, Reece. Mm-hmm.
Well, I just wanted to support what both Doc and Scholar were saying. I believe that when it comes to children are governed, for want of a better word, by adults, by parents. And I believe that our naturalness is not an add-on. It is not clips and bubbles and braids and all that. Our naturalness is us. So when we are not allowed to wear our natural hair, like in the case of boys, or we are not allowed as girls to be creative with our natural hair, to me, it's a form of discrimination. Because what you would prefer is to see my hair back in one, slick down, as we say, you know, our ends plaited tightly so it holds. And that is not our texture. That is not our natural texture as Black people. If you're mixed, or if you're of a race that has straight hair, then that you don't ever have to worry about neatness, untidiness, or anything like that. But ask me to have my hair in the same style as someone who has straight hair. By the middle of the day, my hair is going to coil up because I have natural curls. So what happens, due to that kind of pressure of having to have your hair looking like that of another race or mixed race, Black people resort to, they fed up, so they perm their child hair. It's easier to deal with. You just brush and pull back. Everything is a brush. Or for some, they braid their children hair. But that one, I know there's one or two schools that allow children to braid their hair to come to school. But it's not this. This is considered elaborate. And to me, that is where the rules come in. The rules should come in for add-on, not for your naturalness. So a child shouldn't have to remove Bantu knots, you know, from our head, because that is a style you do when you just wash your hair. You can't come to school with that. But that's your natural hair. It's a hairstyle. What should be the problem is maybe how many clips I have adorned to it.
Yeah.
How much bubbles I have in it that might bust my head if I fall. To me, those are the things that there should be rules about. So you have color, you have rules about your ribbons and your clips and, you know, the add-ons. Even for the schools who allow children with braids. For a lot of parents, that is convenient. This, as stylish as it might look, it's very convenient for me because I can get up and go in the morning. I don't have to worry about having to do a brush and a comb and water and all these things, right? So you have rules for that. You say, okay, if you are going to do braids, it has to match maybe the color of your hair, and it has to be at a certain length. It should not be probably 2 inches, more than 2 inches longer than your own hair, you know, and the color. So you have some kind of standardization when it comes to add-ons. But we should not be forced to have to go and perm our hair because there's the pressures of how our hair is supposed to look. And again, that comes from colonial times.
Right.
Take some
yeah, we need to take one final break, and then when we come back, we're gonna go to the we're gonna take some calls and some additional comments. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Hubbard's is once again innovating the way you shop with its new online store, providing 24-hour shopping convenience. You can shop now for appliances, hardware, houseware, building material, and more. Free delivery island-wide. Start shopping now at hubbardshardware.gd. Safe, convenient, reliable.
Have you heard about the new Softweave bathroom tissue with total hygiene? As hygiene and safety have taken center stage, our bathroom tissue is now manufactured with 3 different technologies to offer the best protection for you and your family. UVC light technology for a safe and effective disinfection process, eliminating 99.9% of microorganisms. Also, production at high temperatures, killing all types of germs and bacteria. And it's pH controlled with delicate fibers to prevent irritation for even sensitive skin. Softweave Total Hygiene Bathroom Tissue. Available in supermarkets and shops island-wide. Visit Softweave Caribbean Facebook or Instagram pages for more information.
Do you have muscular pain that no one can find a solution for? Are you tired of taking meds for joints and other pains? Hills and Valley Medicare Center on Grenville Street, St. George is here to help you heal. We will help you map a path to your full recovery. Visit us Monday to Saturday for a consultation with our on-site doctor, physiotherapist, and massage team. You will be glad you did. Our Medicare Center, a proud member of the Hills and Valley group of companies. On the hilltop or in the valley, we are with you wherever life takes you. Hills and Valley Pharmacy. Your health is our business.
Raise it high up the ladder. Let we set it on fire. A little more calypso. Forget the funk and the disco. A little more limbo. A little more shango.
Welcome back, everyone. We Culture. So our telephone line is open. The number is 435-2041. You can give us a call, and we'd like to hear from you. Reece, in the meantime, we could probably take whatever comments we have on Facebook.
Richard Nichols was saying with our previous discussion, ladies should know what man they put in themselves with. You're looking at a lazy man and you're friend with him and you are the one to blame. Then we have Rohan Thomas is saying the reason why we're having these problems is because fatherhood starts at 16, grandma starts at 20, and great-grandma starts at 30. So nobody knows their place. So father's just living life. Now, saying everything that is wrong become right because you cannot discriminate against a gay child, but hairstyle is a problem in this 21st century. Daphne is saying there should be no punishment for any hairstyle for boys and girls. Jose is saying, I remember as a child attending the St. Patrick's Anglican School, there was a teacher, Desmond, who will take a small comb and pass it into the back of your head where your half usually twisted, where your hair is usually twisted. And if the comb didn't pass freely, well, accept a cataplam from him, which I know scholar will have to explain to Reece. That sounds like a rap. Veronica is saying, but Doc, it seems like locks you are talking about, but no chemicals, nothing, it's locks. Cynthia is agreeing with Doc when it comes to the natural form. She's also saying, this is why I was shocked when there was a big issue about the color of the child, that this was the way DNA was done. Isaiah Louison is saying, Brother Godfrey, you are forgetting that the child is a child and the parent is almost a child. Many parents in this dispensation cannot get their children to obey them. Many children dress themselves to their own liking to attend school, etc. Denson is saying society has abandoned We Culture. The guidelines is set is foreign-based. Isaiah is saying elaborate hairstyles and dress in school can be a distraction to classroom learning. Does anyone agree with me? Judy is saying yes, education needs to appreciate the kink in our hair. Judy Latouche is saying my husband was kicked, and that's the last 2 comments. My husband was kicked out of class by his teacher because of his afro, and it still bothers him up to today. Unbelievable. And Ruan is saying, we only thinking now, in a few years from now, the conversation will be different. Anything America say, we follow. Right now, in America, they say a child have a right to choose if he wants to be a she or a he. She wants to be a he, and you cannot discriminate. So what is the problem, Godfrey, with now a child with how a child carry his or her hair? So those are the comments.
Right. Let me just ask this. Oh, well, let's go to the telephone because we have some calls. Oui Culture, good evening. Hello. Good evening, caller.
Hello?
Yes, good evening. Go ahead,
Hello,
please.
good evening.
Yes.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, go ahead. Listen to us on your telephone. Turn down your volume, please.
Recently, I came to the point where I'm asking the question, how did we get here? That is a question, a very relevant question, because we keep ignoring things, deviating from standards, and then this question must be asked, because when you go to school, there are certain standards that are set. We have uniforms. I heard earlier they talk about the tightness, which is now more in relation to the boys. But if the standards are there, the standards must be upheld. There is something I heard some time ago. I don't know where it started. It was with the conversation or with the dress or with the singing. And once it starts deteriorating in one area, then everything deteriorates. Have a good evening.
Thank you, caller. Okay. 435-2041. That's the number you can call. And you can, make your contribution to the program. Let me just ask this in the meantime. As it relates to tightness and distraction, where do we stand as it relates to the teachers who are supposed to be the examples for children?
Well, I think the Education Act also outlined their standards just for the way for teachers, as they say. So I think the question probably would be or should be, who is enforcing or ensuring that the standards are also maintained by teachers? But there are standards for how you dress to go to teach. I think it had something to do with, I know one of them, you shouldn't have your arm outside as a female teacher, blah, blah, blah. There are some standards I know in the past that changed. Example, in certain schools, you couldn't, if you were not married, you couldn't be pregnant to have a child if you were, if you was out of wedlock. And that has changed since then. But there are other standards. There are standards in terms of dress code for teachers. As it is, you cannot go to teach with a slippers, a wola or slippers. Men cannot go and teach with short pants and a whole series of different things. So the question, Godfrey, I think, is like, who is there to monitor and uphold the standards for the teachers? But I mean, there are standards set, and I think it's an ongoing challenge for everyone in terms of, because everybody is trying to break the standard, but the standards are there.
Right. Let's go back to the telephone. Oui Culture, good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good evening. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, caller. We're hearing you. Go ahead. Okay. We seem to not. I'm not sure if the caller is not hearing us. Yeah. So as it relates to that, Doc, I guess you're right, but I think we also have to keep in mind that as it relates to the add-ons that Reece was making reference to, we have to be mindful that if the examples that children are seeing, they are going to be drawn to that. So then how do we deal with that situation?
I don't understand the example.
But what does that have to do with the add-ons?
Yeah.
No. I'm saying, yeah. No. I'm saying if okay. So if you mentioned about if the children are using add-ons like the braids and all of these things, right? There should be some guidelines there. I'm asking if they are saying that with their teachers, people who are supposed to be the examples. How are we going to deal with that?
Godfrey, I find it's very unfair when we just loosely always put an adult in the spotlight as being exclusively responsible for the younger one. It's like without even considering that this person is an adult compared to a child, and this person have earned their place. They are now able to make decisions on their own, and they are in a better situation to have their own likeness and their own styles and all of that. Right?
No, I don't disagree. I'm just saying, Reece, all I'm saying is, remember, as adults, children pattern adults. When you, as look at fellas, when you see big men drinking rum and smoking cigarette, you feel it's a big people thing, and you want to play big man, so you want to do that too. I'm just saying that, I'm not saying that adults don't have the right to make the decision. Yes, they do. I'm just expressing the concern that if some of the things that we are concerned about, where the children are concerned, how will they deal with it in terms of using the adults as examples to pattern their lives, because that's how children learn. It's based on what they see.
I'll give you an example, right? Whenever I happen to put braids in my hair, which is probably about 2 or 3 times a year, when Nala sees it, she's like, "Mom, can I have braids too?" And it's okay to ask, but she knows the answer, and she'll hear the answer, and she'll always hear the answer. No, that is not for you. When your turn reach, you would have it. Maybe during the vacation period, I might choose to braid her hair because she's going off by family, and we want to avoid having to plait every day and that kind of thing. But she's a child, and you have to tell her she's a child. You have to act like a child, and there are things for children and there are things for adults. If she asks me, "Why aren't you reading when I'm reading?" then we could talk. Yeah, I'm supposed to be setting that example for her. If I wanted to be reading, I think I should be reading as well. But not when it comes to and your question about the add-ons. Remember, add-ons are in school. The clip is an add-on. The bubbles is an add-on. The ribbons is an add-on. Those things are add-on, but they are accepted. As scholars say, that is part of our culture. To have lots of clips, lots of bubbles, that kind of thing, it is a part of our culture, so it is not a problem. Whereas there are some schools who limit on it too. So they tell you only 2 clips are allowed. The judges have to be white only or black only, or, so the add-ons have rules. And I'm just saying, I agree with there being rules for add-ons, whether it is the simple clips, bubbles, whatever, or if for those who allow braid, add-ons should have rules. But I don't think that they should have this hard and fast rules for natural hair, whether it is in the form of dreadlock, twists, combed hair, whatever. That should be encouraged, because the children who go to school with combed hair never, or Jericho, never have these problems.
Godfrey,
Okay.
you ask a good question, and you make a good point, because in my experience as a teacher, children always come up and tell you that, look, Miss, she long nail.
Because they patterned it.
Why can't we long nail too? Miss, she big second shares, a big tire, a big second here, so why can't I have a big sec too? And so children observe these things, and children will point to this. But I think Reece is correct in terms of how you handle it. That's how it is. There has to be a defining and a line of demarcation. And sometimes you say to children, and you tell them it's as simple as this. When a child goes to school, right? A child is actually going to school. But when the teacher goes to school, the teacher is going to school.
They're going to work.
They're going to work. So it's two different things. You know? The teacher is going to school and the teacher is going to work. And I think therein lies that defining line.
No, I have no problem. I'm just pointing it out because children do have a way of modeling adults, and a lot of children and in a lot of different ways, because a lot of times one of the main things you hear when you see children behave in a particular manner, you hear they saying that what they see. Yeah. That's what they learn from home. So that's what they see.
But
it should be.
Also has done the question about teachers and rules and so on. And while the Education Act makes some general statements and so on, and over the years and culturally we have learned that a teacher must deport him or herself in a certain kind of manner, befitting of, because listen to me. Teachers are called sir and miss. And sir and miss has a certain kind of deportment connotation attached to it. It's sir and it's miss. You're on this thing. And so we are accustomed culturally that teachers must walk the straight and narrow when it comes to deportment. But it's also important because there is a code of conduct that they have been attempting to draw that up for teachers for donkey years, that really and truly should be completed and enforced. That code of conduct will say exactly how teachers should dress and give the fine lines. Because the truth is that when you think about school, it's important not just for modeling and so on that teachers dress in a particular way. Now with tight clothes, things that revealing and what. Because there is an educational principle called figure and ground, which is important in this case and important in school life. Because when you're trying to teach children, whatever you're trying to teach and the work that you think, that is supposed to be what they're concentrating on. That's the figure. And everything else should be in the background. That's the ground. So how a teacher dressed and so on should be in the background. That is not what a child should be concentrating on. But when a teacher has a short thing, suddenly that becomes the figure. And the work that is being taught gone into the background. And that's not what you want. Then children can go learn. You see? And it's important to set this figure and this ground mentally in order for learning to take place.
Right. Reece? Doc?
Very interesting. Just one point, I was remaining because I thought that Reece did a good job in answering you. I also believe that even the line of demarcation, as Carla pointed out, between the adults and the children should be a little bit more defined. I think it's becoming more, blurred, Adults, we have gone through, like example, you may ask, my teacher dressed like that, but my teacher went to school, the teacher acquired X amount of subjects, the teacher went and studied, blah, blah, blah. The teacher has on the keep. And so I think I remain on the same side to say that it is we are the ones. And there would always be this battle, Godfrey. There would always be this battle as a child wanting to experience the adult world as much as possible. So when you're a little boy, there are other things you wanted to do and it was not your time yet. Children 16, 17, 18, they want a car, they want the house. For matter of fact, so they want to live in house and get married and live together already. But they have to own the keep. You take at some stages before you reach it. So you have our responsibility as adults. We have to say to our children, it is a process. And if you have the patience and take your time, you're going to get there. I think it's the same approach we have to take with our children that want this instant richness or this instant fame or this instant set of material goods at the hand. That, you have to do a certain quantity of years of working and save, and then you go on, and then you become your own man or your woman, and then that is yours. So the battle for children to always want to be like an adult is always there. But we have to be the ones to steer them and let them have patience so they acquire what they want when they want.
But yeah, and not just patience, but I want to go back on that. I think the examples that are set is also very important. Because mind you, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. If for example, let's say a teacher dresses in a particular way to go to school, all right? That of course the child cannot do that. And the child probably understands, well, look, I go into school, I can't do that, you know. But children are such that they may find a way and a time to experiment or to try it. And sometimes the environment might be even worse when they decide to try it out.
I think that's where you could make that point if all the teachers in the school are dressing in that.
No. I don't think so. Example is example. They are. And mind you, I'm not trying to hit on any teachers or how children should be. I agree with you that children should be, in terms of their hairstyle. And once there is some level of neatness, I am on board. I am just asking the questions, and because my thing here is about learning. And children learn from examples, from what they see and what they hear and what they feel and what they experience. So I am just placing on the record the concern that as adults, we should be very mindful of the examples we set. But I am not here trying to dictate what people should do and what they shouldn't do.
You know, we're using the examples and we're hinting towards things that are unacceptable versus what is acceptable, right, in dress code. But being devil's advocate here, what about the teacher who dresses like a grandpa that children are not, for want of a better word, attracted towards? We probably ignore. It's like you bring no vibes to the classroom. You know, so you are well dressed based on code of ethics and all of that, but you do not inspire. Not even the color that you show up with gives me an energy, a boost of energy that makes me want to hear what comes out of your mouth now, right? As opposed to maybe the teacher who is well dressed, meaning covered, but probably shows up with some kind of loud color, or maybe some kind of hairstyle that is a bit different. It allows for talking. It allows for conversation. Children become inspired. And a child may become inspired because they like the hairstyle and they want to get into hairdressing. While we are busy trying to teach them science and whatever else. You know, so I'm just saying we are using examples of hinting towards extreme situations of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. But what about that inspiration that comes from the little things every day? What you see, what you hear. What about that? Is grandpa bringing that? Are our children aspiring to go to workplaces or so with pleated pants today? No, not even Scholar wearing pleated pants. Scholar doesn't wear pleated pants. Scholar doesn't wear pleated pants. And I know Finley don't wear no pleated pants either.
What you call them pleated pants? Are you know how they call it?
Those pants are, don't worry, when I see you, I'm gonna tell you your pants don't have pleats.
Let's go to the telephone. We have a call coming in. Oui Culture, good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good evening, caller. Go ahead, please.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I totally agree with Godfrey on what he said concerning leading by example. And no attempt should be made to downplay that. That's the problem we have in society generally. Children, as you say, learn by what they see. adults do. You know, we live in a society where people adopt that kind of a mentality, do as I say, but not as I do. And that's the case with many parents and so on. The question is, children do not interpret things like adults. For example, scholars talk about teacher is going to work and not to school. Well, children do not interpret it in that way. You understand? Where, you know, so parents are to lead by example. So the principle of, yes, we should talk about the whole question of explaining it to your child. You do something and you say, well, I'm an adult and I could do it that way, and you are a child, so you can follow me. Well, you know, that the principle of that is wrong. So, for example, one may say, well, I'm an adult, so I'm a big man, I could drink, I could smoke, right? I could do it. And as a child, you shouldn't do it. Wait until you reach a big man to drink and smoke, or other variables and so on. You know, that's not the way we actually train children or be examples for them. And keep in mind also, when we are like celebrities and so on, yes, we may have our children, but we also have fans looking up towards us and so on, right? And they emulate us, and that's why, for example, lots of our black women, they want to take on US. Lots of them, they are successful, and they take on this Eurocentric look. And so they, to the ordinary black girl growing up, they look at them, and the message is, if you want to be successful, you have to look as how I look and so on, all right? And so I'm saying that when we lead by example, it's not just saying I do because I'm an adult, I can do this, and you are a child, and you do otherwise and so on. That principle is not a good principle. Thank you.
Thank you, Gola. Thank you very much. Guys?
Can we take some Facebook comments?
Yes, let's take the Facebook comments, and then when we come back, we have to wrap because we're almost out of time. So we can use the,
I need to point out, right, and since last week, we have a viewer who has been lodging her complaint that we are not putting the topic on the screen. I have a number of people who come on late and they're asking, what's the topic, you know? Mm-hmm. So we need to revert to putting the topic on the screen. So the comment here, Yulin is saying, Reece, we the adults have to show good examples to the children. Alexandra is saying, the whole point is that kids need to know that they are kids and not adults. And I totally agree with the young lady. Cynthia is saying, workplaces used to have guidelines for workwear. Yvonne is saying, as a teacher, I went to school with a chain on my ankle, and a child went home and took a ribbon and tied it on the ankle and say, I am a teacher. Isaiah is saying, children learn what they live. I do believe. Parents have to lead by example. Rohan is saying, in the 60s and 70s, how did children carry their hair to school, Godfrey? We were only allowed ribbons to match our uniforms. That's coming from Cynthia. We were only allowed bobs. So I guess that's a hairstyle, bobs. Yeah, that's the comments.
Right. Let me see if I have anything here. Someone is saying, good night. I think bubbles, clips, and accessories. But false hair braids are add-on. That's the difference. Someone says here, there are rules, regulations, and standards that people should uphold. Okay, so we are catering for some tall freestyle. All right, let me see what else we got here. No, all right. Okay, yeah. So that wasn't the initial the initial discussion we had. Tell me, my father left me as a baby, never gave me a pin. In my 40s, I met him and he wanted to call me dad. There is more to see. Well, yeah. So that someone was saying earlier that they weren't seeing scholar clearly. Yeah, but that's about.
And dog does be in a hole.
Doc, yeah. Doc, yeah, so that's all the comments on the WhatsApp platform.
Godfrey.
So
Godfrey.
Yeah.
As we speak about that comment about the first discussion, someone said to me, "Don't call my name," but they were like, "Reece, you will be amazed to see the amount of people that file for child maintenance these days. Men are also making brave steps in filing for child maintenance too." That should make Godfrey happy. Not Godfrey, sorry, Livingston.
No, I mean there is the reverse to it. I mean, and trust me, it's probably worse than we think. Believe what I'm telling you. Yeah. So guys, we're out of time. So let's we could use our last comments to make any final statements on the subject. So Doc, we'll start with you.
So briefly, I'm just saying, I'm going for natural hair. That is what we were talking about. And I also believe that natural hair, and do what you can, remain neat and clean, and let your creativity reign. That would breed a sense of confidence and pride in the child. And we have a new generation of persons or people that are more self-confident and ready to take on the future.
All right. Reece?
I have to agree with Doc. I'm all for naturalness. And contrary to what the viewer who you just read about saying about what is add-on and what is not add-on, a boy going to school or a girl going to school with 5 cornrows in her head, that's it. That's natural hair. That's with a natural hairstyle. Putting a clip at the end, that is an add-on. So let's not, make, because our culture is not used to having braids in hair, seem like braids is an add-on, a different kind of add-on, like a more high-level, evil kind of add-on compared to the bubbles and clips. I have seen children as young as Green Street with little braids in their hair because it keeps their hair neater for the parent who's working, some are nurses, whatever. They do those things. The children's hair look really neat. It's short. I have also witnessed in the same school where children's head get busted from having bubbles in their hair. And in that same school, I would have had issues with children and hair, natural hair, Afro hairstyle, because we prefer bubbles and clips and ribbons in little girls' hair, and boys' hair should be groomed. And I've had it. I've had my son suspended from preschool for 5 cornrows in his head. That was natural. So to me, these are major in minor, and it's discriminatory because this is a child's natural hair. And we follow the teachings of Jesus. We say we are a Christian society, and every example that we have of Jesus is somebody with long hair. Samson, long hair. So why is it that we have such a problem with our children having long hair? And I'll go further to speak about even the dress code. The dress code that we talk about. Who was having problems with the generation of yesteryear that was wearing bell bottoms, meaning high waist, tight on the thighs, and loose in the bottom? Who was having problems with that? Because it seemed like it's okay now, while we have problems with the generation today, their style. I rest my case.
Finley?
I think that Jamet does joke. Yeah, man, why? Oh, God. But she talking good talk. You spoke some good spokes tonight. But Godfrey, I want to just make this abundantly clear. That teachers don't dress any and anyhow. And anybody who believes that, they realize they are no teachers. To find a teacher who is not appropriately dressed in this day and age is something that is out of the ordinary. Teachers that be well put away these days. You lady, women teachers and things, they just hunt down seamstress and so on, wherever they did in August and so on, and do all the fine and dandy. Then you have this site now, they call that Shein or what. They buying this thing and them and it's nice thing what pulling them, I mean, well put away. And sometimes teachers deport themselves in such a way that sometimes it's easy to spot a teacher from a mile. Reece going to work. Nobody mistakes Reece for a teacher. But you have some ladies. As you see them, you could point and say, ask them, you're a teacher? They just look the part. They look the part. So let's not kid ourselves. Teachers set examples in terms of dress and so on. I think the bigger problem really is that the reinforcement and so on from home. That has been the biggest problem, really. But that being as it may, in terms of the topic that we have been discussing tonight, one thing I would say and predict is that somewhere down the line, because we've seen so many things happening these days, centered around rights and all of these things. You have gay rights, you have this rights, you have that rights. And whatever it is that happens in one jurisdiction, using a liar word, it catches on. And so this thing that has happened in Ghana, I mean, I believe that it's only a matter of time before this catches on somewhere else and somewhere else, until we have a situation where, I mean, your teachers and the school system may struggle to punish children, suspend them, and take all kind of punitive action and so on because of how they were here. It's coming. You can bet your life it's coming.
Yes, indeed. Well, I want to thank you guys again, and of course all our listeners, viewers. We thank you very much for staying with us. We seem to be having some issues with our telephone, but hopefully we should have this thing rectified before our next program on Friday. So until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend, folks, and hey, we'll be back with you next week for another We Culture. All the best and good night.
Raise it high up the ladder. Let we set it on fire. A little more calypso. Forget the funk and the disco.
We Culture comes to you compliments Hoppers and Grenada Paper Products, manufacturers of Royal, Horizon, and Quick and Easy paper towels and napkins.